Hello everyone, and welcome back to Learnosity's series of on-demand webinars. Thanks for joining us for our first long-term support webinar of 2024. For any viewers unfamiliar with our long-term support releases, they're strong, complete, and stable versions of our APIs. 3 times a year, we release these production-ready versions of our APIs, which are then supported for 2 years. My name is Kathleen, and I'm a product manager based in San Francisco, California. Later in the webinar, I'll also be joined by my fellow product manager, Monet. Today, we'll be looking at all of the enhancements and new capabilities within our first long-term support release of the year 2024.1.LTS. Delivering best-in-class assessment experiences requires continuous innovation. Courtesy of the 50-plus specialized experts in Learnosity labs, this major release is just the latest batch of improvements to our gold standard assessment engine. Improvements which are designed to help your learning platform evolve to meet your ever-changing needs. Let's just briefly run through what's new from our release on the 6th of March, covering assessment, accessibility, STEM, analytics, self-service, and we'll finish with a special look at an upcoming Author Aide feature and an important notice for customers. In assessment, we're helping you deliver more secure, efficient assessments with random activities. In accessibility, you'll see how we've introduced a more accessible number line with plot question type and more operable sticky notes. In STEM, we'll talk about a flexible notepad for STEM assessments, extending assessments for coders, and some new symbols for the math keypad. In analytics, we've made the response analysis report more flexible. In self-service, we'll show you how we've improved platform management. And in our coming soon section, we'll let you know about some major upcoming Author Aide enhancements, which is the next phase in our roadmap for AI-enriched assessment. And to wrap up our webinar, we'll give you details about a sunset notice for the image aspect lock option. So firstly, let's talk about what's new in assessment. You can now deliver different sets of items to different learners from an assigned item group, with items chosen randomly at runtime. Using random activities in Author API, you reduce effort for authors, increase item bank longevity, and combat cheating. Let's take a look at this new feature. If enabled in the toolbar, you now have the option to create a random activity. The way this works is by creating item groups, which can either be a random item group or a fixed item group. So let's create an activity that has 2 groups, one that is random and then one that is fixed. So for our random item group, if we want, we can change this name. And we can find some items to be in this group. So for the random group, I'm going to select the following integral questions. So I can add these 6 items to my group. And if I go back, now I can set how many of these 6 items I want to be delivered to the learner. So I'll select 3 of these 6 items to be displayed to the learner, and these will be chosen at random. Next, we can look at our fixed item group. So every item in this group is going to be displayed to the learner. So here I'm going to select my 2 matrix questions, and I can add those too. If we want, we could also edit the name here. We also have the option to shuffle the order of these 2 items that will be displayed to the learner. So if we look at our summary now, we have 5 items in total, 3 that are coming from the random group of 6, and the 2 fixed items that will be displayed to every learner. We can preview this activity. This is a sample of a randomized activity. We have the first 3 items that came from group 1 at random, and then the last 2 fixed items. We've also made a lot of progress in accessibility lately. The first item is with the number line with plot question type, which is used in a range of STEM assessments. With this comprehensive update, we've added keyboard and screen reader support. Here we see a multi-part item where the learner is asked to graph a solution on the number line in addition to providing their answer in interval notation. So with our new updates, all of the functionality of answering this question is now available from a keyboard. So using keyboard controls, I can select the open segment, and then I can place that on the number line. Once I've placed the segment on the number line, I can either select the full segment to move it into a position, or I can focus on one of the endpoints to adjust as needed. To support screen reader users, we've also added in keyboard instructions on how to interact with this question and appropriate messaging as they navigate the question and focus, select, and drop or delete the different tools. Guided by best practices in web accessibility, we've also updated Annotations API to enable sticky notes to be moved around, resize, and reposition using the keyboard alone. As you can see in this image, we've also had some styling updates to improve the overall user experience with this tool. Next up, let's take a look at our new updates in STEM. STEM learners require notepads with specialized capabilities. With GeoGebra Notes, learners can annotate on-screen assessments with the flexibility to add scribbled notes, geometric shapes, charts, mathematical equations, and much more. Let's take a look at this new feature. In this demo, we've added the GeoGebra Notes question to an item to provide the learner with a space to document their thinking to show how they solved a problem. So we have access to the text tool like you've seen, and also the ability to add in math or to add in tables as needed. Here we can utilize the different geometry tools like this free-form polygon tool to allow the learner to think about the spatial relationship between the different areas that were provided in the question. The learner also has access to a pen and highlighter tool with different colors and tools like the ruler and the protractor to help them draw any diagrams that are needed. Providing learners with a variety of tools allows them to demonstrate their knowledge in the way that makes the most sense for them. Our next feature helps extend assessments for coders. Help coders prepare for the reality of their future careers. With Qualified's custom question, you can now create computer science experiences grounded in real-world learning and placement outcomes. We've also added in some new symbols for the math keypad. Early math learners can now use question marks in their math keypad and in their math questions to help represent any unknown quantity or variables. We've also added the greater than or equal to and the less than or equal to symbols that have the full equal sign as an alternative to the symbols that we had previously. This way you have access to whatever symbol is used in your context or in your curriculum. Next, I'll hand it over to Monet, who's going to talk about the work done in analytics.
Next up, let's take a look at analytics. Our response analysis report displays a summary of responses for a group of learners. This report is now capable of rendering items that have multiple versions. Item references can also be shown for the multiple versioned items in a user interface element. Next up, let's take a look at self-service. Using advanced filters on Learnosity console, admins can take full control of user access by allowing them to filter by role, item bank, and permission group. This feature speeds up the process of making sure the right people have the right permissions. Let's take a look. Now we're here on the console homepage. In order to see who has what permissions, we click Manage All Users. Here are the new filters. So I'll click Show Filters, and then I can filter by role, item bank access, and membership to permission group. So for example, if I wanted to see all of the users who had the admin role, I would click Admin and then search. And finally, we're going to look at some major upgrades coming to Author Aide, our AI-assisted authoring tool. Upcoming enhancements include delivery via API. You'll have the option to access our AI-assisted authoring capabilities within your existing content management system. Retrieval augmented generation. You'll be able to leverage AI to not only create content, but also easily pull in relevant information for more accurate, context-aware, and information-rich output. Bulk generation of content. This capability will allow you to produce large volumes of high-quality AI-generated content at an unprecedented scale. If you'd like to learn more about Author Aide, reach out to your customer success manager or email team@learnosity.com. The Learnosity team will also be at this year's ASU GSV Summit in San Diego from April 14th to 17th. So get in touch if you're also attending and want to chat in person about the future of AI-enriched assessment. Please note that the image aspect lock option will soon be removed. This feature could be used to adjust the aspect ratio of graphic images before presenting them on the page. Due to low usage by customers, this feature will be removed with the release of 2024.2.LTS in June 2024. And that concludes our general overview of our first long-term support release of the year, 2024.1.LTS. If you've any questions about anything covered today, we're happy to answer them for you. Customers can log a ticket at help.learnosity.com. If you're not a customer, please email team@learnosity.com. We'll respond to all your questions as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.